live a little bit early, but I got a big day ahead of me. My name is Judy Haddad. I'm the owner of Orange Purple Passions and the founder and executive director of 5 Purple Oranges. My links are, this will be on YouTube, my links are in my profile. So this is my hit by a truck, chapter 2, birthdays. My son and I were hit by a semi-truck 4 years ago, killing him and leaving my body and psyche a little battered, for lack of a better word. So I had a friend reach out recently asking me what I'm going to do for Ilan's birthday. His 14th birthday is coming up on September 21st, and I hadn't thought about it this year. Birthdays are just one of those days that as they approach, my body starts telling me something bad is happening, fix it. I don't cope well with his birthday. So let me tell you the history of that. And again, only since his loss. Prior to his loss, we didn't always have the best times for his birthday, but we always celebrated. It was always at least the two of us, oftentimes my parents. We would go someplace fun, take him out for a nice meal. For his 10th birthday, he was to get a GoPro. He was gonna strap to, from my parents, that he was gonna strap to his helmet and he was gonna film himself skateboarding, maybe out while he was out on his bike. So he was super excited about that. He knew that was coming for his 10th birthday. Prior to that, I think another birthday present my parents gave him were a set of binoculars so he could go birding. So we had those with us the day of the crash. In fact, those in some form got returned to me 2.5 years later, something like that, got returned to me in 2017. So on September 11th, 2014, actually I was given a present. Ilan died August 17th, 2014, while he was still 9. His birthday was going to be, his 10th birthday was the 21st, and we knew at that time that that would be the time to do a memorial for him. I had a hard time with that. I was either in a wheelchair or using crutches, depending on where I was, and I was still on morphine or Norco, one of those, and I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't walking. It was a difficult time. On top of that, we got some interesting news from my lawyer. So on September 11th, I had been communicating a couple days prior with one of the investigators of the crash, saying, you know, there's this item of Ilan's I really need to have. It was a sweatshirt of mine that my mom gave me that Ilan used as like a security blanket. So he slept with it every night. He brought it with him on trips, and then maybe he would bring like a little stuffed animal or something like that. So the investigators had told me there's nothing else we can get from your car. If we touch anything else, it's destroying the evidence or what have you. So they weren't allowed to pull anything else from the car, but I knew, but we were having trouble figuring out where the sweatshirt was because I knew it was on the floor of the back seat of the car. They looked in the car, there's nothing left, everything's in the trunk, we can't touch it. Totally get that, and I'm like, I don't care, I just want this back at some point. So, God bless him, one of the investigators went to the impound yard on the 11th of 2014 and found Ilan's backpack in the back of the car. Now the way we were smashed into, the whole back seat of the car basically met the front seat of the car, which is why the first responders had such a hard time pulling Ilan out of there. There was just no car left. But this backpack was retrieved, pictures were taken for evidence, and I was sent those pictures saying, is this what you were looking for? And so, like, to me, that was, I can't even tell you, like, what kind of gift that was. And then my lawyer went and picked up all the Ilan's stuff, brought it to me, and gave me some terrible news. We had been planning this memorial on the 21st at Ilan's school. He had gone since the time he was 4 to the Montessori school, Lake Forest, so it was sort of like his second home. I was working full time, and he would carpool into school with his best friend whose mom worked at the school. So he was there from like 7:30 till I tried to pick him up around 4. I would get into work early just so I could pick him up at 4 because I knew we would have to get home and do cello lessons and dinner. And Ilan loved to sleep, so he'd always want to go to sleep at like 7:30. You know, he liked to sleep early. So I had a hard time planning this memorial, and I sort of let the school take over because, again, I wasn't all there. And as I've said in the past, I can't eulogize Ilan. It just doesn't seem like something I'm supposed to do, or that I could sum up his life in just a few words in just one day, what have you. So the weekend before, or the week before the memorial, my lawyer comes to me, tells me, we had been going back and forth, my mom and I, about whether to invite Ilan's father. He had created such drama in the hospital, and I will talk about that in the future. And the lawyer says, oh, well, he's suing you. So that kind of made our decision for us. Well, now that's just great. So a little known fact that I have now learned all these fun Wisconsin laws is that in Wisconsin there is a set amount that you can get for the death of a child, I guess, due to negligence or a crash or whatever. It's capped at a certain amount, and that no matter the role of any other sperm donor, as I like to call Ilan's father, no matter the role, he's entitled to a percentage of the money. So he sued me down in Illinois in like Cook County and tried to get it in federal court up in Wisconsin. That's a story for another day. So I found that out the same day I got Ilan's stuff back, and everything I got back from Ilan was like starting to mold. It was like damaged. It was rough. So that was my September 11th, 2014, well, in that week after. So on what would have been his 10th birthday, we had the memorial at the school, and if we all could be at our own funerals to see that kind of outpouring of love, like I talk about this a lot, like the judge was like, who is this child? He's not any more special than any other child. But if you could see, like, I'll go into Chipotle's where we used to go, and the staff will cry at his loss. Like, they didn't even know his name, but they cry at the loss of this boy that they saw on a regular basis. So his school was filled with, like, his pediatrician came, people from my work, people, like, it was crazy how many people came to this memorial. My friends own a chain of restaurants. I call them a chain, but it's their own family of restaurants. They donated the catering. I didn't even get to try the food. There were that many people there. I can't even tell you how many people were there. I can only tell you that I wasn't fully present. My dad had just also been released from the hospital. We were both in wheelchairs. They had to divide who was going to wheel either one of us. That was kind of funny. But it was just wonderful to see that. And the kids got to do their own little ceremony. A lot of the kids spoke. We chose my younger brother to sort of officiate. My mom spoke, and I'm sure that was real difficult for her. That was not what I chose to do on that day. We dedicated his cove outside where he would eventually have the skateboard bench. The kids chose a tree that was like his tree. They've adorned it with ribbons many times over since then, and this was going to be Ilan's space, a space where the kids could go and think about him and be in his presence. And it became a space of healing for me as well.